Union. Let's go over to MSNBC. Let's watch some Morning Joe. That's always a good time.
We've got a lot to talk about here. Meanwhile, the White House is defending the president's response to the Supreme Court ruling on abortion from progressives who say he hasn't done enough. White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield told the Washington Post, quote, Joe Biden's goal in responding to Dobbs is not to satisfy some activists who have been consistently out of step with the mainstream of the Democratic Party. It's to deliver help to women who are in danger and assemble a broad-based coalition to defend a woman's right to choose. A senior staff.
Okay, first of all, they're saying in a very condescending way, because they like to shit on their base, Joe Biden's goal in responding to Dobbs is not to satisfy some activists who have been consistently out of step with the mainstream of the Democratic Party. It is to deliver help to women who are in danger and assemble a broad-based coalition to defend a woman's right to choose. What do they think the activists who are out of step are calling for?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, like, what is that, like, the loony left of, like, abortion rights? I didn't think there was such a thing. In fact, I feel like most people who are talking about abortion have been cowed into the Hillary Clinton version of, safe and legal and rare. So I don't know where this groundswell of activism came from. I mean, people let Obama off the hook, even though he promised to codify Roe v. Wade into law when he was elected. So if anything, people were very soft about this, and that's why they got caught slipping.
Right. Yeah. And it's just so disdainful. And
he's like blaming people who are desperate, who are struggling, who have been warning about this, and it's absolutely, and you don't have to blame the base all the time to respond to your failures. Seriously. You can respond in other ways. Joe Biden has a lot of experience in responding to various failures he's had, but it's like you have to do a little bit of hippie punching, even if the hippies don't even exist.
I know, and I don't know why he feels so constrained, because he's such a liar and he lies with such impunity. He could just make something up. No one would care. All right, let's keep watching.
Help to women who are in danger and assemble a broad-based coalition to defend a woman's right to choose. A senior staffer from the 2020 Biden-Harris campaign said she and other activists are offended by that statement.
These people going into the street saying that we need bodily autonomy, that is the excitement that Democrats need right now ahead of the midterms, and to demonize them and say, they're not mainstream. Well, abortion is a very popular issue in the country, and it goes across Democratic and Republican lines. I think it was an unforced error, and I hope they address it. I'm not sure they will, but I took offense to it, and a lot of people have.
So I'm trying to understand what exactly, what can he be doing right now that he's not doing, Joe?
Well, that's what the White House is saying in that statement. Yeah. And by the way, I'm sure a lot of thought went into that statement, because Jonathan Lemire, as you know, there has been for quite some time, you've had the progressive left in the Democratic Party, and let's just say it right here, the progressive left who hated him in the primaries, the progressive left who cheered his losses in Iowa, the progressive left who cheered his losses in New Hampshire, the progressive left said he was too old, he was too moderate, there was no way he could win. The progressive left that was shocked when he won big in South Carolina, when he won big across the South, when he won big and ended up sweeping his way to victory in the Democratic primaries. So there has been in Washington, I can't speak for all over the country, but in Washington, there has been the question, why did Joe Biden run as a moderate and then get to Washington, D.C., and worry so much about what the most progressive elements of the party were saying? And I think the White House finally just had enough, saying, oh, okay, you're going to keep criticizing us about everything? Well, listen, we're going to do what we can do, but stop acting like I can just wave a magic wand and suddenly make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again. There's and you've reported on it an awful lot. Talk about that tension between moderate Democrats, between the most progressive wing of the Democratic Party, and how this statement played out, and why the White House finally just had enough.
Yeah, the progressive left, long time, as you just outlined, not enamored with Joe Biden, but when Biden was elected and they saw this an opportunity to do big things and his agenda, White House aides were pretty blunt about it. They wanted to be FDR, they wanted to be LBJ, and that meant adopting some of these progressive platforms, and not all of them came to be. As we know, part of the president's legislative agenda fell on the rocks, crashed against the rocks last winter. But there's been a real source of tension here. The White House repeatedly has tried to reach out to the progressives. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain in particular is the emissary from the West Wing to the Progressive Caucus. And I think there's been a growing sense of frustration in the White House. The aides that I've talked to confirm this, that they have been really almost fed up with some of the demands from the left. Like, of course, they understand them on some issues, on other things, far less so. And I think that statement this weekend was a bit of a tell from the White House saying, look, we're doing what we can on abortion. We're doing what we can on guns, on voting rights.
So here again, the question that is coming from Morning Joe and Mika, his sidekick/girlfriend, is why are these progressives being so annoying? Why are they asking for so much? And why does Joe Biden care? Joe Biden's mistake is that he cares too much about what they think.
I was so confused by that because it didn't even mention, like, what are these concessions that he's made to the quote unquote progressive left that has been bullying him? Like, what did he do? They even said at one point that the issue they had was that the demands the left were making were too much. Not that they had given into the demands, just that they were sick of hearing the demands, which I don't know what to say. Like, and nobody on that panel can name any sort of material gains that people on the progressive left have gotten from Joe Biden. They're just like annoyed that they're not all on board with whatever agenda Biden has going on. It's bizarre. It's absolutely like there's no content to what they're talking about. Just like in some sort of ideal realm and space, the Twitter, basically on Twitter, the progressive Congress people sometimes tweet slightly, negative things about Democratic leadership, but that's it. That's like nothing has actually happened in the real world.
Yeah, and that's too much.
Like,
that's
even
rude.
the tweets, they can't even handle a few hot tweets, the subtweets, even not even direct, subliminals they're complaining about.
Subtweets, yeah.